I have spent my weekend both cackling with glee and openly weeping. But first, you de la dose of Daisy. Remember last week when I said I felt the shift? So many of us, we're all feeling the shift in momentum, in upward momentum, direction, fire. That Mars direct really did a number on us. But I said it may not look like it yet, but it has never been a better time to be an American. And now we're seeing it. The protests that have been happening are both absolutely hilarious and straight up fire. I'm going to do a separate post about this, but the signs at the ski resort in Vermont that ran the Vance family off their ski holiday. I love it. We've also seen protests against what's happening to the national parks. We've also seen a wave of pro-Ukraine support, anti-Trump, anti-Putin, anti-Russia here and around the world. And I know there's lots of feels about what happened last week. Lots and lots of feels. I get that. And I know there's a lot of people who are afraid that our allies are going to turn against us. But the thing is, our allies know that we, the people, are not having that. We are not on that side. We're not on the side of our leaders. And they know that because of how we're protesting and how we're speaking up on social media, because of how we're responding to what's happening. One of the most incredible acts of resistance that I just saw. And again, watch my repost, you guys. Go to my page and you can see above my videos, the one that looks like the little arrows in a circle. Those are my reshares, my reposts. Go and watch those. I just reposted a video of people in LA, and apparently this is happening all over. When ICE agents come into their neighborhoods, they're taking to the streets, some with megaphones, to inform their neighbors of their rights and how to resist legally and peacefully and with strength and purpose. They're showing up in solidarity and saying, "Not today, bitches." One of the biggest themes that I talked about in my event, I did a live healing session last Friday. It's called What's Coming Next, and it's looking at the energies of March. One of the biggest themes that came through is the rising of the people, which forms the energetic, we'll call it that. That is what the shift is. When more and more people rise and make the choice against what they're seeing, both in their minds, emotionally, and physically with their physical actions, we are uniting together against what's happening. And that energetic force is both what is pushing back against what's happening, as well as it's serving to basically energetically defund what they're doing. They don't have our power to harness their agenda. A lot of people have been discouraged lately, and rightfully so, about what's been happening in Congress and the Senate and how many lawmakers have been ineffective or silent against what's happening. And it makes you feel very helpless. It makes you feel very furious, absolutely. But what I'm seeing is, because the power is not in government. People in power, people in positions of power, actually, especially if you're an elected leader and you have a position to sort of rule over other people, much of your power is coming from the people underneath you. And right now, the swell of that energy is being pulled back from Washington and pulled back from our leaders as we're saying, what the fuck? Not today, bitches. We're pulling our energy back from them. And we are feeling the energy within ourselves. And it rises up with us in compassion, in anger, in fury, and in sadness. The only way that these lawmakers or that other people can harness our emotions is if we are in fear and powerlessness. The energies of those emotions are then able to be taken and used against us. That was another something that came up in that session. You can get it at the link in bio, talking about how they harness the energy to get their power. So when we're looking at the situation at hand and we're saying, how do we make the shift? How do we take our power back? That's literally how we do it. With our emotions, with our minds, with our energy, and with our physical actions. We say, no, I'm not participating in that. Instead, I'm taking a stand here. I choose this here. The economic blackout is another way that people said, no, I'm not participating in that system. I'm withdrawing my energy from that system and I'm placing it in other intentions. And by the way, that was just the beginning. I posted to my stories a whole list of other dates, times, and businesses that are planned to be boycotted in the future, because this was just the beginning. We're going to keep making our will known, our voices known. We're going to keep taking action as we are called. And this is just, this again, why I'm like, this has never been a better time to be American. Never been a better time. Because even the protests that we saw in the 60s, that was the counterculture. That was not mainstream. They were very loud and they went on for many years and it was a beautiful, fantastic thing. But that was not the mainstream. That was one subset of the people coming together to fight against the mainstream. We are now becoming the majority, fighting against the small minority in power. This is going to continue. And that's why I said in that live reading that the energies of March are going to be explosive in the best possible ways. And for those who are at the receiving end of the backlash, in the worst possible ways. It begins now. And this is how it begins. We, the people, take back our power and use it to push back.